I have been on a quest for a long time to find a open source video editor that doesn't suck, that isn't so freaking complicated that I'll never use it and never learn how to use the features of it. I just want to stick clips together and have a place at the end or somewhere to put text, and I want to be able to drop in a audio, or move things apart and stick in a video in the middle when I forgot to put a transition in. Little transitions, nothing complicated. I don't want anything spectacular. I don't need that. Okay, I'm a dumbass who does videos and it feels the need. So I've been looking for a long time. The one that I really thought was cool, but it's just too complex, Blender. It looks like an amazing editor. There was a guy who shot a production movie on this silly thing, and it does a great job. It's an amazing editor, and it lost me the minute that it prompted me for how many frames I needed in my whole project. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going any further. If it's prompting me for this, it should tell me that information instead of me telling it I'm done. I don't want to learn this project. I don't want to learn this system. So I use on a daily basis, I use Windows and I use Linux every day, all the time. So I wanted something I could go back and forth between those two. And there just wasn't one that was just an editor you could dive into and get something done. Well, I found one. I tried this program before. It's called ShotCut. I tried it before and it was a little bit buggy and it crashed in the links I was using at the time, but they've worked it out. So the version I tried now, I've tried it on Windows and I've loaded it on Linux. I haven't actually run it or done anything in Linux yet. But I loaded it on Windows, and I actually edited the last video I put up was edited in ShotCut. And I haven't learned all the tools, so basically it's just one clip that I did tried to get some things done. It took me forever to find a little that you have to hit the S key to split a clip in the editor. So it took me forever to figure that out because you have to hover over the little icon in the editor bar, and it says, it has a little parentheses S. Okay, fine. So it takes you forever to learn this crap because I'm old. It takes me forever to learn things. And of course, I'm sitting here screaming at it, and then I find the button that did what I wanted it to do. So today, that clip that I took was all shot on this, which is my my phone, which is not HTC. It is, I don't remember what brand phone this is. Anyway, it's an Android phone, China special, and not HTC. It's the other one. But so that's what I'm shooting on right now. I'm going to switch cameras, but here's something that's kind of stupid. When I come out here to the garage, and of course it's hot and humid in Texas, right? I have to sit out here and let my cameras warm up, because otherwise, when I turn them on, they'll just fog up. The phone doesn't really do that because I keep it in my pocket all the time, so it's kind of warm when I walk out here because it's in my pocket, right? So I come out here, it's already warm. Plus, there's no air bubbles back behind the camera. From what I understand, they pack those cameras in nitrogen, if I remember right, or maybe not with this camera. But some cameras on these phones, they'll pack them in nitrogen to have them positively pressured, so that as they get jostled around, the pieces inside aren't getting jiggled, and there's no moisture in there. They have to actually pressurize the moisture out of them to make them work properly and keep them from fogging up. That's pretty cool. I wish they'd do it with all cameras, whatever they're doing, whatever little tricks they're working out. Anyway, I'm going to switch cameras now because this thing handles all kinds of formats. I want to make sure it works with at least the three primary systems that I use on a daily basis for vlogging. So this is my Canon, what do they call these? They're not snapshot cameras, they're some other shot something or other cameras, I don't remember. But I've used this camera and other little Canon quick shot cameras, whatever the heck they're called, for years. Really like them. They were a great vlogging camera for a long time, but I mean, there's just too many. There's too many cameras out there. The competition is horrendous. This thing only shoots in 24 frames per second at the resolution that I have it set at, and the software that I use now, called ShotCut, automatically uses the settings from the first clip you drop into it. You can override it later if you want, but I'm going to make sure and drop a 30 frame in on top of it. So what's going to happen is you're looking at 24 frames per second now from the camera, and hopefully it's nice and smooth transition from 24 frames that the camera's shooting to whatever 30 frames or whatever that I'm shooting. And I'm waving because I want to see how blurry or if I get motion blur or something screwy going on. And how bad this camera also has some kind of motion sensor in it that it's supposed to smooth out the transitions. So I want to see how that acts being switched from 24 frames to 30 frames. This is I think this is a GoPro Hero 3. I have it set up to shoot 1080p by 30 frames a second. I mean, I haven't gotten into the whole 60 frames a second thing. This one will do it in one resolution, and of course all the other GoPro, the newer GoPros will all do it just in the highest resolution possible. And so will all the quick shot cameras, and even a lot of phones will shoot in 60 frames a second, and just any mode you want and all that. That's nice, but I haven't made that transition yet. The ShotCut software, it looks like it has all the presets for 60 frames a second, which is great. I'm not seeing a lot of 4K in the editors yet. The default's to 4K. From what I understand, a lot of the editors will do it. I think ShotCut said they'll do 4K as well. This is what I do, okay? I don't need 4K, not yet. When it's just the default and it's just old and boring and everything, all the bugs have been worked out of it, and the rendering engines and all that kind of stuff, fine. And by then it'll be 32K or whatever, whatever would be next will already be taking over. And I'm not a bleeding edge person, I'm not a cutting edge person. But this is the GoPro. This one shoots in 30 frames a second. So again, I want to make sure that, and number one, it handles this format, because GoPro has a little bit of a weird format. Hopefully everybody's caught up and started using it, because everybody and their brother uses these GoPro cameras. But just making sure that the new software, and that's something else I want to talk about. I've edited a grand total of 1 video, and as a matter of fact, I had already edited that video in my normal software, which was just Microsoft Movie Maker. So I already had a video I could just upload to YouTube. So I wanted to learn the software. So if I got frustrated enough with it, I would just upload the one I'd already made. Well, I got into this video maker and I was figuring things out. I was getting in and I was saying, okay, I need a timeline. Well, there's a timeline button. You hit the timeline, and I couldn't figure. For a while, it was the freaking frames wouldn't. I mean, not frames. The windows from the program were jumping around when I try to move them and put them where I wanted to. Because what I like, honestly, I just like putting them on top of each other and using the little tabs at the bottom. Well, it took me a minute to figure out you have to wait for it to highlight the other window to drop it. Otherwise, it tries to go above or below it. Blah blah blah. Took me a while to figure out how to split a frame, because I was mousing over the icons, and it took me a while to figure out how to. What was another one? Oh, to do text. It turns out, I'm so lazy. Here's how lazy I am. On the last video, instead of just generating a background to stick my text on, because you can't just say, like in Microsoft Movie Maker, the cheapy one, you just say, give me a text frame, and it gives you a frame, and you define how many seconds you want it to be, and you just write your text in it, and that gives you a black background or whatever, and you make your text, and it displays it for however long you tell it to display it, and that's one way of doing it. With this one, it wants to go on top of an existing entity, or a video clip or a picture or something, rather than going and shooting a video or taking a picture of just blank space or anything. No, I cut my video and just stick the text in the middle of that. So it's my little copyright notice. Just stick that in there. Done. And I figured out how to add transitions, and they call everything filters. So anytime you overlay something on top. Now, I'm already looking forward to doing my next thing, which is I'm going to do a composite, which is where you lay one video on top of another. And what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and explain it. What I want to do is I want to take the copyright notice at the end and fade out the video, but leave the copyright notice at the end. And what that's going to do for me is number one, it'll give me something to practice on. But what that means is I've got to figure out how to make a transparent background picture, photograph, a PNG with transparent background. And I'm gonna have to put the text on top of that. So I don't know if ShotCut will give me that empty background to put the text onto for the composite. I doubt it. I'll probably have to go into a graphic editor and say, give me a transparent background PNG at a certain resolution, 1080p, whatever that is, I forget, and then save that as a graphic PNG file with nothing in it, and then use that as my frame. I hate that. I hate the fact that you have to do crap like that. That's all that is. I mean, they couldn't just give you an empty PNG somewhere in the program, and because it's not big. It's not like it's big. It's compressed anyway. I don't care. It's nothing. It's nothing. I shouldn't get upset about it. But it upsets me that I have to go through 95 steps to one time, because you only have to do it once. You only have to go through that once to create your empty PNG, right? It should just do it for you. I mean, this is what computers are for. Computers are to make our lives easier. Why do I have to do this the first time? Why does everybody who uses your software have to go through this once? At every resolution, probably. I guess if you're making an empty PNG, you can just make an empty PNG and scale it to whatever resolution, because it's not like it's going to be pixelated if you're making an empty PNG. So I guess you can make a 2 pixel by 2 pixel PNG and just scale it. It would just be an empty PNG. But anyway, still, it should just pop that in for me. Give me an empty frame that I can lay on top for a composite and stick text and special effects or whatever onto. No, because they're big on grayscales. A lot of programs, what you do to get like star wipes and all this kind of stuff, zooming in and out for transitions, you create a grayscale, black and white essentially, picture, and you have one's black and one's white, and that way you can fade it in, fade it out. There's all kinds of tricks to this video editing stuff, and you pick them up as you go along. But the thing is, you have to learn it. Everybody has to go through that learning curve to get this crap to work. And I don't know why that is even a problem. I'm looking forward to the day when we can just tell the computer, here's my 15 video clips. Hand me a edited video, and it'll show you an edited video, and you say, no, cut that one shorter. Cut out me going every 15 seconds. That kind of crap. It'll be. I don't know if I'll live long enough for that to happen. I mean, robots. Everybody's afraid of robots taking over the world, and I look at how much of a pain in the ass it is to edit a couple of video clips together, and think, I think the human race is going to be just fine. You're going to need humans for a while yet. But I mean, how cool is it that I'm looking forward to my next editing session with the software, and I'm looking forward to learning how to use the software? That is a hell of a statement to say about a video editor. I would never say that about something like Blender, because Blender is just beyond my frame of reference. It's beyond my capability to really learn. If I needed that much power, I would go do it. I'm a clip guy, okay? I just take clips and I stick them together, and I want to be able to put text on, and I want to be able to do a few things. But that is awesome. I'm gonna hopefully get a Mac at work at some point, and if I need a video editor, I want the same interface. I don't think people understand. I want the same interface across Mac, Linux, and Windows. That's actually a very hard thing to do up until just recently with a program, with any program, but with a video editor. Video editors are a whole other animal. Because you have so many copyright problems, and because you have so many codec problems, and you have so many different methods of doing the same thing and getting certain transitions and things to work, you're getting anything to work in video editing, and you have so many different tools in the world. Everything has its own interface. Everything has its own niche that it's supposed to fill. Light correction, you have color correction, you have all kinds of special effects and screwing, bolting things together. And it's like, I just want a clip editor that is the same on all three platforms, because at some point in the near future I'm going to have a PC that I use at home, and a Linux and a Mac, both that I use at work. And that's where I'm going to be. And I'm going to be that guy. When Microsoft wises up and stops letting people use unregistered versions of Windows, I'm going to need to go back to Linux. When you don't need Flash player anymore to play things like Xfinity on demand and that sort of stuff, I'm going to just go back to Linux. Netflix. Whenever you can play Netflix on Linux without any special need, special use programs, I'm just going to go back to Linux. I'm not going to basically pirate Windows anymore on my personal computers. But until those things happen, I have Windows machines in the house. Everybody knows Windows, and I now have a new recommendation. Even though I've only edited one video, and I'm pretty sure that ShotCut is going to be my default. You want a video editor? Go look at ShotCut. Go look at the tutorials. Go look at the first 3 tutorials in their shotcut.org, and it'll tell you. That's pretty much how it needs to be done for just a clip edit person like me. Good luck. Hopefully Shot Edit doesn't get open source death. Because that's what happens with a lot of open source projects that are really cool. They're great for a little while, and then some politics happens, and people stop updating the project, and it just goes to shit. That's happened to so many programs. The open source software needs to figure out how to stop people from devastating their projects. It's the people in the projects who screw it up worse than proprietary or whatever, money for profit programs coming out and taking their place. That's what kills open source is internal politics and the projects. So hopefully they can avoid that crap. We'll see.